How many more nights are you going to spend staring at your ceiling, negotiating with the ghost of a woman who didn't think you were worth being loyal to? You're sitting there in the dark, and you feel like you're dying because the house is too quiet. You think that feeling is love, but let's call it what it actually is. It's the panic of a man who has forgotten how to stand on his own 2 feet. You're the victim of masculine atrophy. While you're agonizing over the memories and the years spent, she is currently rebranding her betrayal as self-discovery to anyone who will listen. You're witnessing a psychological foreclosure. She didn't just break a vow, she intentionally dismantled your confidence so that when she walked out, you'd be too broken to realize you're better off without her. You're the victim of the comfort shackle. You think you want her back, but behavioral observations show that you're actually just a man who is terrified of the void. You're terrified of the work it takes to rebuild your own kingdom from the ashes. You're funding the survival of a memory, while she's already funding the future of your replacement. Today we are killing the illusion. I'm going to show you how to distinguish between the noble desire for a partner and the pathetic fear of an empty room. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're going to remain a hostage to a woman who has already stopped negotiating for your release. The most brutal truth you'll ever learn is that you don't actually miss her. You just miss the version of yourself that was still naive enough to believe she was capable of being loyal. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. We have to look at the biology of the void. You see, brothers, when you have been with a woman for 5, 10, or 20 years, your entire daily routine is built around her. When she betrays you and leaves, it's not just your heart that breaks, it's your internal clock. You don't know what to do at 6 p.m. You don't know who to text when something good happens. You're the victim of routine collapse. Because the void is so uncomfortable, your brain tries to find the fastest way to fill it. And the fastest way is to go back to the person who caused the hole in the first place. This isn't love, it's survival panicking. You are being biohacked by your own loneliness. Behavioral observations show that men will forgive the most disgusting betrayals just to stop the feeling of being unconnected. You are the victim of your own biological urge to belong, even if you belong to a traitor. This leads us to the nostalgia filter. When you are alone, your brain performs a psychological edit. It deletes the memories of her screaming at you. It deletes the memory of her lying to your face. It deletes the image of her with that other man. All it leaves you with are the highlight reels, the first date, the way she smelled, the times she made you feel like a king. You are the victim of selective amnesia. You think you want her back, but you actually want the version of her that existed before she revealed her true character. But that version is gone. It was a mask. You are trying to buy a product that is out of stock and has been replaced by a counterfeit. You are being manipulated by your own past. I want to tell you about a man named Steve. Steve was a high school coach, a man who believed in loyalty above all. When his wife, Linda, was caught having an affair with a neighbor, Steve was devastated. He kicked her out, but after 2 weeks of sitting in a quiet house, Steve couldn't handle the silence. He started thinking, maybe I was too hard on her. He started thinking, the kids need their mother. Steve called Linda and told her he wanted to work things out. Steve was the loser in this story because he mistook fear for forgiveness. Linda came back, but she didn't come back with respect. She came back with a license to cheat. She realized that no matter what she did, Steve was too afraid of being alone to ever truly leave her. Steve spent the next 10 years as a live-in doormat. He was the victim of eternal vigilance. He never slept soundly again. He checked her phone every night. He was the victim of a woman who stayed for the house but gave her heart to every man she met on the side. Steve failed because he thought the noise of a cheating woman was better than the silence of a peaceful home. He died inside long before his heart stopped beating because he chose company over character. You have to recognize the status loss anxiety. Many men want her back because they don't want to be the divorced guy or the single guy at their age. They are afraid of what the brotherhood or the family will think. You are the victim of social reputation terror. You would rather be miserable in private than embarrassed in public. But brothers, the only real embarrassment is being the man who funds the lifestyle of a woman who mocks him behind closed doors. You are being socially shackled. The fear of starting over at 40 or 50 is used as a weapon against you. She knows you're afraid, and she uses that fear to keep you in line while she does whatever she wants. The next psychological stage is the validation hunger. When she chooses another man, your ego takes a hit that feels like a physical punch. You want her back just to prove that you can win her back. You want her to choose you over the other guy so you can feel manly again. You are the victim of competitive validation. But listen to me, you don't win a race by running back to the person who tripped you. You are being psychologically baited. If you get her back just to heal your ego, you are still letting her define your value. You are the victim of a woman who still decides if you are good enough or not. You take your power back by mastering the silence. You have to realize that the void is not a hole, it's a workspace. It's the only place where you can hear your own voice again. You have to move from "I need her to stop the pain" to "I need this pain to show me who I really am." A man of value doesn't want her back. He wants his self-respect back. And you can't get self-respect from the person who took it away. You have to build it in the silence, in the gym, and in the grind. You are the sovereign man. You recognize that being alone is the tax you pay for your future freedom. The most uncomfortable truth you'll ever have to swallow is that while you were prying over the history you had with her, she was already rewriting that history to make you the villain of her story. You're not just moving on from a person, you're moving on from a crime scene where you were the one who got robbed. You've been the victim of revisionist betrayal. She didn't just take her body to someone else, she took your memories and tainted them so she could sleep at night without feeling like a traitor. You're sitting there holding on to a version of her that never actually existed, while she's currently showing her true face to a man who doesn't even know your name. You're the victim of ghost funding. You're still giving her mental and emotional energy as if she's still the woman you married, but that woman is dead. She was a character played by an actress who just finished her contract and moved on to the next show. Today, we are finishing the work of the sovereign rebirth. We are looking at the final psychological shifts, the exorcism of the ego, the market value reclamation, and the silent victory. I'm going to show you why moving on is just a change in geography, but healing is a change in your very DNA that makes you immune to the games of low-value women forever. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're just a man running away from a ghost that is eventually going to catch up to you in the next bedroom. True healing doesn't happen when you find someone new to replace her. It happens when you realize that being alone is 1,000 times better than being with a woman who makes you feel alone. We have to talk about the exorcism of the ego. You see, brothers, the reason you can't stop thinking about her isn't love, it's your ego being insulted. Your ego is screaming because another man is winning with your woman. You are the victim of competitive trauma. You feel like you lost a game you didn't even know you were playing. But behavioral observations show that there is no winning with a woman who has no loyalty. The new guy hasn't won a prize, he's inherited a liability. He's just the next man in line to be lied to, cheated on, and drained. When you move on without healing, you are still trying to win a game that is rigged against you. Healing is the moment you walk away from the table and realize the game was trash to begin with. You are the victim of stakes delusion. You thought the stakes were your heart, but the stakes were just her next whim. Then comes the market value reclamation. When a woman cheats, she does it because she perceives her value as higher than yours in that moment. She thinks she's trading up. If you only move on and stay the same man, you are confirming her suspicion. You are the victim of stagnant value. But the man who heals uses that pain to skyrocket his worth. He builds a body that looks like it was carved from stone. He builds a business that commands respect. He builds a mind that is sharper than a surgical blade. This is the biological rebuttal. You aren't doing it for her, you're doing it because you realize that your value was being suppressed by a woman who wanted you small so she could feel big. You are being unleashed. You are the victim of potential suppression as long as you let her betrayal keep you in bed. I want to tell you about a man named Ryan. Ryan was an architect who spent 10 years building a dream home for his wife, Elena. When he discovered she was having an affair with a contractor, Ryan didn't try to save the marriage. He didn't ask for closure. Ryan did the total identity liquidation. He sold the house, he sold the furniture, and he took a 1-year contract to work on a massive project in a different country. He went into monk mode. Ryan was the winner in this story because he understood that healing requires a total change of environment and energy. While Elena was expecting Ryan to be the broken ex she could check in on for a confidence boost, Ryan disappeared. He stopped using social media, he stopped talking to their mutual friends. He spent 12 months in the void. When Ryan finally returned to the States, he was a completely different man. He had doubled his net worth, he was in the best shape of his life, and he had a sense of internal peace that couldn't be shaken.
One day, he ran into Elena at a professional event. She tried to approach him with the "I'm so sorry for what happened" speech. Ryan looked at her, smiled politely, and said, "I'm sorry, remind me of your name again?" He wasn't being petty. He had healed so thoroughly that she had literally been deleted from the priority list of his brain. He didn't hate her. He didn't love her. He was indifferent. Ryan won because he realized that the ultimate revenge isn't success, it's indifference. He moved from being the victim of her choice to being the master of his own reality. He healed the wound so perfectly that there wasn't even a scar left for her to touch. You have to recognize the nostalgia trap. This is a psychological trick your brain plays when it's under stress. You start remembering the good times, the holidays, the laughs, the early days. You forget the lies, the coldness, and the disrespect. You are the victim of selective memory. This is why men go back. They are trying to find a woman who no longer exists. You have to be cold. You have to be sharp. When those good memories come, you must immediately remind yourself of the red flags and the final betrayal. You have to train your brain to associate her face with treason, not comfort. If you don't, you are just a man waiting to be poisoned again because you liked the taste of the sugar it was wrapped in. The winner's protocol is about the silent victory. You don't need to tell her you've moved on. You don't need to post about your healing journey. You just live. The win is the day you realize you haven't thought about her in a week. The win is the day you see a photo of her and feel nothing but a mild curiosity about why you ever cared. You are the prize. You are the sovereign man. You recognize that your life is a high-speed train and she decided to jump off. You don't stop the train to see if she's okay. You keep moving toward your destination. Healing is the realization that the train is actually moving faster and smoother now that the extra weight is gone. You are being reforged. You now know that moving on is a physical act, but healing is the absolute reclamation of your masculine spirit. You are no longer the man who begs for a seat at a table where he isn't respected. You are the man who builds his own table.
You recognize that her betrayal was the best thing that ever happened to you because it forced you to become the man you were always meant to be. You are the sovereign man. You are the master of your own peace. You don't look back at the fire. You are the one who survived it. So, here is the smart question for the Brotherhood today. If she lost everything tomorrow, her looks, her money, and her social status, would you still want her back? Or is it just the idea of her that you're afraid to let go of? I want to hear from the brothers who have reached the stage of indifference. How long did it take for her name to stop meaning anything to you? For the men who are still in the anger stage, be honest. Tell the brothers what you're struggling with. Let's get the engagement up so we can help the man who is currently sitting in his car, staring at his ex's house and wondering why he can't let go. Your words might be the light he needs to find his way out of the dark. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.